Welcome to Big Brother NSFW. We're here to talk about the Week 2 Evictee, and joining Karen, Jonny, and myself, we have the founder of Level 6. We've got Winston from Big Brother 20. How are you doing, Winston?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me on. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just sitting here reeling after that Tyler HOH. I'm wondering what he's going to do, you know, but we'll get
I think I know. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert for those West Coasters. Sorry.
Well, no. I'm not talking about that. I think it's Janelle and Kaser are in a bad spot.
However, I feel like it's maybe a little early for Tyler to show his cards like that. I am predicting he's going to try to use one of his own alliance as a pawn. Nobody's going to go for it, of course, but Tyler's going to try to hide because his name, he does not like his name being tossed around. And right now, that whole alliance has already been seen. So he's going to try to hide some things.
He might be able to talk David into going up as a pawn.
As that sounds, poor guy might be finding himself on the block again. I don't know.
I don't think I've disliked a player more in the history of Big Brother than David.
Well, tell me your thoughts, honestly. All of you all, I want to know because from what I've seen, and I've tried to watch some of the feeds, but working is hard to balance, especially with West Coast. So I try to catch what I can and catch up on Twitter, but I can't tell if he's playing dumb or if he actually doesn't know the game.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the game.
Yeah, I think everyone was cutting him some slack the whole time and saying, oh, this is an act. He actually knows what POVs are. He went back and watched. No, he has no idea.
Yeah.
He's never seen a season of Big Brother, including his own.
Yeah. He was a recruit, had never seen the show, and then once he's voted out, doesn't watch the show still. After the show is over, doesn't watch the show, gets the initial call for All-Stars, which, I saw on Twitter should be called Big Brother Alumni, more apt than Big Brother All-Stars, and still doesn't watch the show.
That's mind-boggling to me. I like I had said earlier, I think I tweeted it. I was like, I binged as much as I could. Like, the moment it's a possibility to go in there, do your homework.
Yeah, like when Lynn Spillman came up to me at the gas station, she was like, have you ever seen Survivor? I said, no, they're a bunch of losers, blah, blah, blah. She was like, you're on. Second.
Happened for you? That's amazing.
Yeah. That second, I go home, I go on eBay, and there was a guy selling the entire collection of Survivor. It was seasons 1 through 6, and he was like, VHS and every early show interview in which the castaway that was voted out explained why they felt they were voted out.
Yeah.
So he was just like, so I contacted him, just like, in the auction now, I will buy this. And he goes, well, there's 2 more episodes, and I can't sell it incomplete. I'm like, you can, trust me. One day you'll understand why. I will give you $300 right now in the fucking auction. Put it in the mail today. And he was like, yeah, okay, but you're gonna have an incomplete collection. And I was like, okay, I guess I will. That day.
And David had 2 weeks in quarantine. And that's what he did, but he didn't watch Big Brother.
I mean, literally, you've got weeks there where you can't do anything. But
can't do nothing. So, but
highlight reel of what not to do on Big Brother for any future players who want to do their homework. You can just watch David and do the opposite.
I feel like I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's got to be playing dumb in some of those conversations. But it's also working against him because you can clearly tell that, like, if you are playing dumb and you're trying to act like, first of all, you're trying to campaign to keep you around. He was telling, I think it was Kaser at one point, that he didn't know anything about this game. And I'm thinking, well, you're not making a good point to keep you around. Like,
yeah, if you can't help,
like, but I mean, my God, dude, it was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation with Devon blows me away. Instead, like, she's saying, I think I can work with you. He's like, you don't know how many people I'm already working with. Watch out.
Yeah, I don't need you. And she was like, I will stick with you just on race. Well, race don't mean everything. It's like,
so, like, buddy, you take any kind of deal, any of those But you know how those conversations are very awkward, and it exposes yourself. Like you have to have the ability to lie, but also to take it. Tyler's very good at those. How many people came to him asking him, "Hey man,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Just say yes." You can never. The moment you hesitate, you're showing all your cards. Like, oh, I'm already in something. Like, what?
If you hesitate, like if I ask you, if I say, Winston, are we cool? And you're like, well, let me think about it. I've thought about it. I'm like, okay, when he comes back, whatever his answer is, my answer is now no. I will smile at him and I will say, yeah, we're good. And from that conversation, I will go to someone else and say, hey, wishy-washy Winston couldn't decide, finally decided yes. So he's next.
I felt a lot better when I saw the diary rooms, though, because I saw the conversations right when they happened, but we weren't really sure whether Day and Bay, really understood that David is not with them. So it was good to see in the diary room that they got it. He's not with them, and it looks like Day maybe is going to let him go, which is great because she used a lot of her social capital this week trying to save him.
Right.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, we saw Nicole A equally play as horrible.
Bless her heart. Like, and she seems like a sweet girl, but I agree. I mean, I think the paranoia got to her. I know Kevin was in her ear, and I mean, one or two people, if you just take one little bite from one thing, it can really trip with you in there. And that's all you have to think about all day long. Well, is Janelle lying to me? Like, but when she's
listening to the only other person in the house who has no one.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. If of all the people to listen to,
yeah, like I would talk to it. Like I don't care if you hate my guts. If you have one friend, you have one friend more than Kevin.
But so lost, and I think he is still kind of lost in there.
Yes.
To find his way now, he's not going to be a part of this week. He's actually going to find a good little floater bubble here for the next couple of weeks. I feel like Kevin might stick around now.
I was actually hoping Enzo would get HOH. Kevin would find his groove so we don't get mopey Kevin, because I think Enzo gives him enough that Kevin's happy. And that's all I really need is not mopey Kevin. And then it's like, okay, let's see Kevin play the way Kevin potentially can. But I mean, I guess floater Kevin is still better than mopey Kevin. But
floater Kevin is fine. I mean, and a situation like this where you've got this one, I don't even want to call it alliance, right? There are a million, I tell people, for people who don't watch feeds, they really simplified everything down 1,000,000%. This is always true between the feeds and the show, but especially now because it's All Stars. There are 3,000 alliances in that house, right? But basically there's this big amorphous blob. And then there's Kevin, Janelle, and Kaser.
Yeah.
And they somehow can't get on the same page.
Well, Janelle, it's not Jason, Janelle and Kaser. JK, I think they are on the same page.
Yes.
But Kevin, yeah, like you said, even the people who want him, he doesn't want.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, big reactions across the board. Let's go through the episode a little bit in order.
Yeah. Well, let's do a little catch up for the Wednesday episode just to bring us into tonight.
Yeah. So, anything stand out to you guys from the veto?
Just the fact that Memphis held firm on his picks. He felt that they were the most harmless picks to have on the block, and I think he was wrong. Apparently they were the least harmless picks to leave as his nominations.
Yeah, Julie Chen's opening for this week, she said, alliances fractured, opportunities missed. This was a week of sloppy play from a lot of people, and Memphis made waves.
Yes. All right, so we talked. Winston, have you met Memphis before?
I have not met Memphis. No.
Okay, well, I set this up on the premiere episode. I'm friends with Memphis.
Okay.
And and as a friend, I'm an honest friend. I had him going in as a lower tier all-star. I have him as an all-star, but a lower tier. I mean, he's not alumni like some people, right, but I have him as a lower tier all-star.
Yeah.
But in real life, I think his social game is off the charts. He's so ridiculously likable. You go to dinner. I mean, like, this guy is running, the highest end restaurants down in Florida right now. A group of us, it was like 8 survivors in Big Brothers. We went to one sushi place. People were like, and he just took everyone. He's like, no, he's like, let me get you guys good sushi. And so, he ordered for everyone, and he comes there. He's just like, this isn't, he goes, this is as good as they got, and this isn't good. Let me take you guys somewhere else. So called for a limousine, got us to another place. I mean, $600 tab. I mean, guy is aces, right? And I was just like, if that Memphis shows up in the Big Brother house, watch out. This guy is deadly. And he might have gotten worse as a Big Brother player.
The house does things to people, man. It really does. Already, we're seeing it. I mean, how many days have they been in? I can't even. What is it?
It was 2 weeks from yesterday, right? They moved in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 2-3 weeks, which I exited at day 30. But I'm telling you, after a week of nonstop gameplay in your head, just things go a little nutty. Yeah.
Well, we had Casey on last week, and Casey was like, he goes, here's what a lot of people don't realize about Big Brother. Like, say you go to work and you have a fight with a coworker. That fight is like if you have a week-long fight, that's the span of 40 hours. That's a week. That's 2 days in the Big Brother house. He's like, everything is just multiply. And then you have someone like Ian, waking you up every couple hours. It's that clock doesn't stop for sleep because you're being woken up.
Yeah. Did you see there was a little like a snippet of a conversation that a lot of people, I might have retweeted it also. It was just Janelle and Casey are sitting around, and Janelle's just like, I'm tired, I want to go to bed, whatever. And Casey's like, what's wrong? And she's like, I'm 40.
I saw it.
Yeah, it really is
looking
interesting.
40.
Yeah, but it's interesting with All Stars that not everybody's 22 years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the more you sleep, the more I feel like you're at a disadvantage. You want to be as many hours as you can in the house, and it's hard because the best, all of the alliance conversations take place at 2 or 3 a.m. And if you're an early riser, like I was up, and then that was half of it was Steve snoring for my season, but it's nutty.
Yeah, so let's talk about real quick before we go into tonight's episode about Ian's punishment. I felt like Ian's target narrowed quite a bit because of the punishment. I felt that, as much as they saw him as this amazing player and a schemer and genius of sorts, that was all kind of broken down. And it's just like, for all the negative things that could be used against Ian, all the positive things were reinforced with the robot and Star Wars thing.
Yeah, and also the punishments can make people just seem less threatening because you just look at them and laugh all the time, and you're not thinking about how they're strategists. You're thinking about how they're funny or, oh, poor them. Like the robot saved Sam, I think.
Great point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, and Ian, unfortunately, he does have this. He is a very lovable guy. And so
what's it about Sam?
Oh, get you off. Yes, 100% agree.
Yeah, but I was going to say, Ian is a lovable guy. And another thing that happened on feeds that I don't think was on an episode. I mean, at this point, I don't even remember where I saw things. A little bit busy these days. But there was a conversation between Ian and Kesar, and I don't remember if it was toward the end of last week or the beginning of this week, where they talked about apparently they're both on the spectrum. And Ian was recently diagnosed, and and he's having a little bit more of a problem with it because it's new. And I think Kesar has been living with this for a while, and it was just a really nice, heartwarming kind of thing. I kind of thought they were going to put it on the TV show for that reason, but I guess they didn't want to. Maybe Ian didn't want it. I don't know. But people do seem to like Ian. So yes, I mean he should have an enormous target on him, but he doesn't seem to.
Yeah, I think he did.
Mhm.
at the beginning, yeah, but not anymore.
Yeah, they were talking about backdooring him. That seems to have fallen away.
Yeah. And why did Memphis get a punishment that they didn't show us wearing that denim vest shirt?
Oh man, must be getting real bored in there. Oh yeah, but I'm all for it. I chopped the sleeves off about half the things I had in there as well, so I can't really fault the guy for that.
All right. What do you do with the sleeve? Do you do like puppet shows or?
I mean, it's just boring. I remember me and Brett cut crop tops on July 4th. Just boredom, just absolutely.
There you go.
Well, the episode opens again with some highlights of Memphis's potentially rough HOH week for himself going forward. It was entertaining as all hell, but
Actually, can we address the big boy, the grown up table comment? Because
we'll get back to that.
There are two totally different schools of thought on that. One is like that's the most disrespectful thing you can say, and then on the other end, it's just like the guy's done nothing in Big Brother. let's let him do something in Big Brother. Where does everyone fall on that?
Well, I have actually heard that conversation, that ceremony might have been a lot worse than we saw.
Okay.
Because before it was aired, right, just on the feeds after, the ceremony, somebody claimed that he called David boy. I'm really hoping that's not true, or he called him kid. And I understand it's a retelling and it's possible it's like a game of telephone, and he never said anything worse than what we saw. But it's possible that it was worse, and we just got to, that. I don't feel great about.
I call younger people kid.
Yeah, boy is more of a problem. And
Boy's tough in 2020. I wouldn't work that one in.
Yeah, but even kid, this, the whole thing about he's not really an all-star, but you're supposed to treat your competitors with a certain amount of respect, and calling somebody kid is not really the best way to get off.
What did he do to deserve it to be there?
Okay, but that doesn't mean you have to insult him.
Yeah, my critique
I
of
didn't
Memphis
really see
doing
the
that.
insult either. Honestly, I kind of thought like it was. I was ready to watch something awful. The way Twitter was going off about it,
Yeah.
I thought Memphis.
So you heard also what I heard, yeah.
And it wasn't that bad. I'm with you. I was kind of like, he's the old school guy. I got second place. All right, buddy, it's your turn to show us what you got. Yeah, I think
Pay your dues.
More of like a just a locker room talk.
Initiation.
Yeah, it was like not really as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but like you were saying, maybe there's more we didn't see.
Yeah, my critique of it, Johnny, is just that if David's not your target, why are you coming at him so hot? Like, what are you doing, Memphis? If you want to come at him hard and make good TV, do it, but get him out of the house. Don't do that and then sit back and say, I don't care, guys, whatever, man. That's a weird move.
Well, I mean,
no reason.
If he's not your target, that's a good smokescreen.
But he didn't have a target that he needed a smokescreen for.
Right.
Throwing shit at the wall.
I mean, as I said, I just
he liked the old school thought versus the new school. We could kind of dive into that because kind of just says I'm throwing up two people that are kind of easy targets for me. I don't care how the house votes either way. One of them gone is good for me. So that's a very old school mentality, right? Of the way they played the game. Whereas now, and even I think it was Bailey at one point got caught talking to Janelle about, well, you can't go against the house with the vote. I gotta, you know what I mean? Like everyone be on the same page and vote out whoever the HOH wants. The HOH doesn't even vote, so it's a very old school mentality that I liked. I kind of was like, okay, I kind of wish more would kind of play this way, but.
It's an interesting move, to say the least. I think we saw Memphis having a tough time with Janelle as she realizes that Memphis is not really playing with her. So she's outside of his alliance. She realizes that. But even the people inside of his alliance, we see Nicole Franzel also deeply uncomfortable with working with him going forward. So we'll give HOH grades. I'm going to have to give Memphis like a D- on this week. I think it was a train wreck. What about you guys?
I think a D- is if he goes home this week, and I can't see that happening.
Well, that was going to be an F for me, but yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Where are you at, Winston?
I don't know. I'd give him a C just because it was the second week. It's kind of early to be, making another move. I could see that was on par for him. It made sense to him. He's a very X's and O's throw up too. So I give him a C. I mean, it's early.
I think I'm with you. I think he purposely picked the two people that should cause the least amount of drama. He really didn't seem to be affected in any way by what was going on in the rest of the house. And as far as his, big 6-person alliance, I don't think I feel like that was one of those pregame deals that sounded great on paper, great via telephone, great via DM. And then once you're actually living with someone, you're just like, oh, wait, this person kind of sucks. And I think there's several splinters in that big group alliance. But I think they'll kind of like stay together for the kids, like shit parents, and then frazzle a little later.
There are so many alliances that we have not seen on the show, which is good because you could never really explain what's going on in that house. I mean, I can't. I finally gave up. I spent an hour and a half, like earlier in the week, just trying to figure out all the alliances, and I finally gave up.
Half of them don't even have names yet. I mean, that's the one cool fun part.
I'm going to wait, let everything settle down, and then when they finally have their real alliances, then I'll worry about it.
Speaking of alliance names, Winston, so glad you brought that up. Now available just an hour before the episode tonight at JonnyFairplay.com. That's right, no H in Johnny, JonnyFairplay. The new commission T-shirt. Oh, wow. The only alliance that has a name in the house. We got a T-shirt for it. It's hot. It's man. And don't forget, with every T-shirt purchase, you get a phone call from me, Jonny Fairplay, thanking you for your purchase. And links to everything, including T-shirts, at SurvivorNSFW.com. So, yeah, there you go. The commission. Do you like the commission name?
I mean, and to be honest, I didn't even really love our own alliance name, Level 6, at the beginning. It's like weird when you're in there, when you're trying to solidify something with a group and you're like tossing names around. It's just a weird moment where you're like, does this stick? And then it takes like a few conversations of like, oh man, I'm really working with an alliance. What is it? What we're really calling ourselves this? But it worked. I mean, I don't know. I liked it now more so than after, but I don't know. Alliance names, some of them can get a little ridiculous, but
me on my first Survivor, me and Burton, we called ourselves the Legion of Doom for 2 days. Very short-lived.
That's great. Different folks.
So get your commission. I'm actually ordering the commission T-shirt tonight. I'm not a fan of Cody. I don't think in any way. However, I don't see myself making a Memphis T-shirt, so I think this is it. So if you want a Memphis shirt, you kind of got to buy it. And if you don't like Memphis and you like Cody, I don't see myself making a Cody shirt. So this is the one. Like, put an X over.
And if you don't like either of them, do what I'm doing and order a What Up Kaser shirt.
Oh yeah, the What Up Kaser shirt's going.
Yeah, I need one. I'm gonna buy one of those.
Those have been selling pretty good.
Excellent. So, in the episode, we see we've already touched on these, but a few really baffling conversations. We see Nicole Anthony making an appeal to Davon, and Davon says, look, we've never had a black winner in Big Brother, which is still an astounding statistic. And that's cool. I like that they're working these conversations into the episodes, especially given some of the recent history of Big Brother. I like that Big Brother's trying to rewrite some of those narratives a little bit with what they're giving screen time to. However, Davon then goes to talk to David. And that conversation doesn't go too well. What are you guys thinking of Davon's game right now?
All right, I understand Davon's positioning and not wanting to be responsible for not having a black winner.
Okay.
However, she says she doesn't know this David guy from Adam, and it seems as though her and Nicole A are actual friends. And if that's the case, she's kind of a crappy friend.
And beyond that, who's going to work with you moving forward? It was very evident that David's not going to work with Devon.
Yeah, well, I will get to the David part, but I'm just saying, like, just like as I said, I respect what she's doing, and I would put myself in a similar place. However, if that scenario is there, but it's against my friend, like, my friends are my friends regardless of color.
I'm not so sure that they were friends before. I think it's more like they're going to be friends outside the house after.
Okay. So if they're not friends, I'm more than cool. But I got the impression that they were friends. And if they were friends, she's a shitty friend.
Yeah, I didn't hear any chatter of that pregame of those two having a relationship.
Okay. Well, then I'm cool. So that part, super cool with it. So let's move on to the second part. David sucks.
As a Big Brother player, seems like a lovely human being.
Apparently, I met him at Hearts of Reality.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you have no recollection of it. I'm not that surprised.
Johnny, did he ask you what Hearts of Reality was? Well,
yeah. Yes, we do. He was like, where are all these kids coming from? What's with the kids?
Playing dumb to everyone and makes him say, yeah, I don't see it happening. I'm just trying to be positive at this point.
But like, I mean, when Davon is, kind enough to just say, hey, I got your back, think about it. And, but you potentially have another alliance. I ain't saying nothing. It's just like, okay, well, if I guess, will you tell me? Nope. And it's just like, motherfucker, I'm trying to save you. He's like, yeah, well, I got other safeguards in place. It's like,
I want to know does he believe he has safeguards in place? Is he so inept that he actually thinks he has these and we know he doesn't? Or is he trying to strong arm her and be like, hey, don't mess with me, I'm really connected, which is also a bad move.
Or he doesn't understand the game. I mean, I do think I'm not sure if he has Tyler, but he certainly has inroads with Tyler. There's a relationship.
I think he has Tyler.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure anymore. But the point is that that's not how the game works. He was in the house for 3 weeks last year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people have more than one alliance, or more than one ally.
Not David.
Not.
That part. I don't know. You gotta wonder if he's playing dumb, but that conversation with Devon, you're right. I mean, it was just immediately bad gameplay. Like, you just look at that person and say yes and eat it up. And I was just like, did you not watch any of what Tyler's done his entire Big Brother career?
No, he, again, did not even watch his own season.
Yeah,
but I don't understand
about these people also.
Yeah.
Like, there's no sign that I've seen, and again, just as much as I don't like pre-gaming, there's no sign that he knows anybody, right? Or put any thought into anything until he showed up in the house.
But why
Zack
would you work with, I want to work with Davon. I don't understand. Like if Davon came to me, I don't care what her pitch is. If I'm purple, green,
if I'm on the block, I'm working.
But I don't care if I'm not on the block. If Davon comes to me and is like, Jonny Fairplay, do you want to work? It's like, fuck yes, girl. Have you met you? Yes. You're fun as fuck.
I don't know, but it's gonna get sloppier from here on out.
So and when she's got your back, she's got your back. I mean, why is that not someone you want to work with? But then again, if you know nothing about Big Brother or the people you're fucking playing the game with, I guess you don't take that olive branch when it's offered.
And you'd have to think someone like Davon, who's played multiple times, who's done the challenge, has a lot of experience, would be a huge asset to someone like David who needs some coaching. This would be a great duo that we're never going to see happen.
Yeah, I don't want to see it at this point.
And it's not going to happen. Now, like I said, I am glad to see that Day and Bay are finally cutting him loose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was afraid that they weren't.
I want to see Davon and Ian work together. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
They were great acting together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping and still am that kind of brought them together. We'll see, but that's.
Well, speaking of people who were cut loose, we then see Nicole Anthony, who refuses to believe that Kaser and Janelle are on her side. And Janelle is literally crying in bed because she feels so bad that Nicole has put out. Like, Nicole is going to feel so bad watching this back. She was already emotional across from Julie.
Julie let her out. We'll get to that, but
yeah. Oh, Julie's on fire this year, by the way. This is the most I've ever liked Julie Chen. Yeah. Moonves.
Oh, did you see that she changed her Twitter handle to JC Moonves? That happened today. I'm not making this up.
Did she lose her check mark?
Good question.
Ooh. I wonder if she lost her check mark.
Is it an homage to JC? Or
Hey, Winston, hold on. If I can get JC on here real quick, we might have to. I didn't know that was an option. Don't worry, it'll be a short call.
Oh, well.
I could go all night.
Yeah. I mean, Janelle and Kaser, I've not hidden it all. Are my two favorites in here from back when I was, in high school rooting for them. Can they do anything? Is anyone going to trust them, believe them? Oh, Karen's got it right there. Yeah.
Very bad tech, but yeah, she does have the check mark. It's real. It really is her account.
Well, no, when you change your Twitter name, you lose your check mark. Well, but I'm sure she's connected enough. Yeah,
I assume she's got the connections.
Yeah. Rick Devens, he was Rick Devens, whatever the TV station he was working at. And so, like after Survivor, it's just like, I'm going to go to the big city, whatever. So he changed his Twitter name and he had a blue check mark. He changed his Twitter and gone. And so he's like, hey, I had it. And they're like, yeah, you changed your fucking name. That's the rule. And he's like, no. So yeah. So I'm glad JC Moonves has enough stroke to keep her blue tick. So
well, before we get to the vote, I was just starting to ask, what can Janelle and Kaser do to ingratiate themselves to the house, or are they just sitting? They're just doomed to be sitting ducks going forward.
Yeah, I think they're sitting ducks.
Yeah, I mean, they very well might be, but I'm just hoping that if that big amorphous blob alliance starts to blow apart, that they might be able to just kind of duck under and hide. If that doesn't happen,
I don't see it happening this week.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying if that doesn't happen, they're screwed.
Yeah, no, I was praying for the random order that we got. I don't think it was so random.
Thank you. That was not random.
That was not last. Yeah. Okay, it could have been worse.
Yeah, we can hope for a POV comp that's like questions that Janelle's really good at, like we saw back in 6 and 7. And
what are Janelle's favorite makeup colors?
I would love that comp.
No, just the entire comp should be questions about. I think it's La Mer Cosmetics that she's really.
There you go, or real estate law. Wherever she's at.
There you go. I would love to assist her with real estate law. I would like to assist Janelle with lots of things. I'll be honest with you.
You and me both, man. You and me both.
And on that note, let's take a quick break before we get back into the vote.
Oh, Blue Chew.
This episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. And let me tell you, I'm about to turn 30 years old. It's about that time I start cutting down on carbs, sugar, unhealthy food. And I realized I basically can't eat anything anymore. That's where Magic Spoon comes in. Tell them about it, Johnny.
Oh, man. 0 grams of sugar, 11 grams of protein. That's right, 11 grams of protein and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. What am I talking about? Magic Spoon. 4 delicious flavors previously: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. What was my favorite? It was the frosted. But boom! What am I looking at right now? This is the greatest week of my life. I'm looking at brand new peanut butter Magic Spoon and honey nut. Oh man, tomorrow I'm having both. I am so excited. I'm breaking all the rules. You heard me correct. 0 grams of sugar, 11 grams of protein, only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. It's keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, low carb, and GMO free, and taste amazing. The most important part, honestly, too good to be true. You can join me. Be like just me. Try those new flavors as well. Where do they go, Zach?
Go to magicspoon.com/survivor to grab a variety pack and try it today. Be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout to get free shipping. And Magic Spoon is so confident in this product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked, but you're going to like it. That's magicspoon.com/survivor and use the code survivor for free shipping. We thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this podcast.
Any fool can climb a wall or crawl through sand, but as every fan knows, Survivor challenges are won or lost at the puzzle. The most successful players are puzzle masters, and you can be one too. Fairplay, Perplexers Puzzles creates handmade miniature replicas of many of Survivor's greatest and most challenging puzzles. Find out if you have what it takes by visiting the Perplexers Puzzle store on Etsy or simply visiting survivorpuzzle.com. Enter promo code FAIRPLAY, FAIRPLAY, at checkout for a 10% discount. And let me tell you, I'm hanging out on my patio on these beautiful summer nights. I have Zack Hacker coming over to my house, and we did the fire puzzle, the season 40 puzzle. I got the tree puzzle, and Zack was like, dude, these things are fucking awesome. So if you are a fan of Survivor, as Zack is, and I know he has a true, authentic Survivor puzzle that I have personally done, these Perplexers puzzles are the real deal. So go to survivorpuzzle.com right now, enter promo code FAIRPLAY at checkout for a 10% discount, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed.
And we're back. So coming into the vote, Julie notes the Tense House. Did anything surprise you guys with how the vote went down?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Janelle and Kaser vote against Nicole. I mean, the fact that she was telling everyone in the house, hey, Janelle and Kaser said they were trying to save me, but just to show that I don't believe them and go one step further, if I get HOH, I'm putting them two on the block. They're my number one targets. And it's just like, if I'm Janelle and Kaser, I'm like, go fuck yourself. So I was thinking potentially they'd be like, well, she's not going to get the votes anyways. Let me throw some votes so they at least, so she at least knows that I was honest this entire time. But I think the right move was good riddance.
What do you think of Enzo's vote, though? So the two votes, for David were,
it almost seems like Enzo's out of the loop.
Yeah, see, I was wondering that. Okay, because when I tweeted initially and watched it, I was like, oh, Enzo's going to throw a hinky vote, like
That's
be the one on it now. But then I was like, no, I think him and Kevin were just out of the loop and just kind of, I don't know.
That's not good for the Meow Meow.
Yeah.
At all.
Is he really that far out of the loop? I did not know. I mean, I know he's not obviously.
I don't think so, but
I thought he was positioned okay.
I thought he would have. I thought Enzo was going to solid up that Cody Memphis deal and ride that as far as he could. And from what I'm seeing in the live feeds, that ain't happening. At least not yet. So, but I mean, we're only a couple weeks in, and these pregame alliances that once again sounded great on paper. There are some cracks. So, so an Enzo is the kind of guy that, once you've heard everyone's story 14 times in 12 days, it's like, hey, Enzo, have you ever done anything cool?
Exactly.
New stories.
Yeah, he'll be kept around for comedic relief. He's the kind of guy you want in the room. You want him around. He'll stick and go far. Yeah.
So
well, Winston, Johnny, you guys can shed some light on this. How hard is it to be that left out of a vote when Janelle and Kaser, who are on the opposite side of the house, are aware that they need to vote that way?
I've never been. I'm trying to think. There were two votes. I mean, even the two votes that didn't go my way, I knew where those votes were going.
Yeah.
So
if you have a pulse on your group, I mean, I don't know, to be that far out of the loop, like, and I know Kevin, I think Kevin is. He is flat out there. That's just bad reads. I don't know. That's just bad gameplay.
Yeah.
Very odd. We'll see how Enzo does. But I think everyone likes him. I don't think he's in any danger anytime.
I mean, maybe. I mean, like, it's a long game. Like, people ask me often, they're just like, hey, Fairplay, would you play Big Brother? I'm like, yes, Celebrity Big Brother in a heartbeat. Regular Big Brother? No way, no how. Right. I mean, like, it's with COVID testing and quarantine and all that. Was it at least 4 months.
It's
you know?
ridiculous. I mean, just the fact that here's the simple difference, which they're two very different shows. Survivor, 38, 39 days. What is it?
39.
39.
Yeah,
And then-
and it's actual fall, it's a real show, and then you have Big Brother summer programming. But go ahead.
But it's 99 days. No, I completely listen. They're two separate conversations. Survivor is a completely different beast. But I will say, to go this long being isolated from society, to go 99 days and that length, you really, I mean, there's some psychological damage there for that first month out back into the wild. I mean, it is like another world for these guys. And I mean, I only did 30 days, and it took me a week to be able to drop my towel in my own home, thinking that I wasn't being filmed. So it's a weird beast.
Yeah. Winston, do you think the Big Brother game these days is too long? Do you think 99 days is too much?
Here's the deal: if it's gonna be 99 days, why not make it like $4 million? What are we doing with this $500,000 bullshit? Like, come on, are you kidding me? This is an all-star season too. I was really shocked at that.
I mean, why wasn't it Ford Presents Big Brother All Stars, and it's we're playing for $2 million?
Yeah,
and let Ford pony it costs CBS nothing. Ford ponies the fucking money.
I don't understand that. That's kind of odd. But yeah, I think there's, I don't know. It's extremely long. It's grueling. But all that in the end for the $500,000. I mean, they were giving that away in year 2000 when we started.
Right. And the other two shows in the CBS trifecta have a $1 million prize.
Yeah. And the equivalent of an All Stars Winners at War was $2 million.
$2 million for them. Yeah.
And the production has to cost far less on Big Brother.
Yeah.
Right.
It's on the lot. Yeah.
Pennies. And the interior of that house, listen, there is nothing in there built for longevity. That thing is, it falls apart.
Yeah, and I remember the bedspreads that they had. I want to say BB6. The bedspreads were from IKEA. I mean, that is a $15 bedspread.
They cut costs everywhere.
But they look nice on TV. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and as far as the brain fuck or mind fuck that Big Brother is, potentially Enzo is taking a 2-week break from the game, and if so, kudos to him. And it's just like, hey, if I don't have to think for the first 2 weeks, why should I? So hopefully that's it. But I can say on the season Evil Dick 1, when he got out of the house, he wasn't ready to integrate back into the world. But conversely, he was just like, I'm fine. And so it was arranged through outside sources that me, Evil Dick, and my manager met outside. We had a private deal outside the Rainbow Room on the Strip in LA. And, we hung out, we were talking. I was just like, hey, it's like, what did you like? What did you not, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking. And I was just like, I was like, you were great. You were good TV. I was like, I'd like to have this conversation again. And, a month, when you're sane. He goes, I'm fine. And I'm like, you might think you are. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, there's no way. I'm like, I don't care if you're, a genius. There's no way that you're not mind fucked. I mean, it's just so much. I mean, I can tell you doing Survivor 39 days, and I controlled every single vote but 2. Even then, I'm, Burton, who was, once he came back from the Outcast twist, was my best friend, and I trust him. The only person I really, really trust was him. And there would be days where I just look at him and I'm just like, that motherfucker sees $1 million written across my forehead, and I see $1 million written across his. And do I need to fuck him before he fucks me?
That's so true, man.
Yeah. And I wasn't, I'm telling you, I'm like, I'm not. And I'm just like, but am I stupid because he is? And he wasn't either.
Mm-hmm.
He was thinking the same thing too.
Yeah, this is what I want to say about Nicole Anthony, to defend her. And I'm not defending her reads. Obviously, they're bad. Of course, I blame Kevin, right? But I also blame her for believing Kevin. But like you said, she played last year. And I really feel like she has PTSD. That's the problem. Is that something?
She's not had enough time. I agree.
Yeah,
I think
so something happened, and she said, "Oh my gosh, it's happening all over again," and she spiraled.
Yeah, I think I agree. You need some detox, like almost a year or two away from it to appreciate the experience. Like now, I'm 2 years out from my experience on Big Brother, and it was a blast. It was fun, but yeah, I feel so much more different and like about the people in there too. Like immediately afterwards, it takes like 8 or 9 months to really just be like, okay, it's behind me. Like wash my hands of it. It's all good. But yeah, she's probably just now got to that moment and she gets a phone call to go back in. I mean,
That's pretty much exactly what happened as far as we can tell, right? Yeah. And I understand why she said yes, but, like I said, the big thing is just, be nice to her. At least, please do not cyberbully her. She's clearly a very, very sensitive person. I feel like she's the kind of person who is going to read all the tweets. I really wish she wouldn't. So just don't pile on. You don't.
Well, I don't think there's anything to. I mean, she.
Oh, BB Twitter is piling on. Trust me.
Yeah, BB Twitter. You just can't win Twitter if you understand and know that no matter what. And listen, nobody's ever gotten a job on Twitter. Okay, you just lose jobs. Okay, if you understand and know Twitter and just say no matter what I tweet, someone's going to be upset with what I say.
Yeah.
Then you just understand. I imagine everyone that interacts with me on there is an 8-year-old living in their mom's basement. Like, just ignore it.
Because some of them
Where
are.
else would 8-year-olds be living?
My 12-year-old just moved to the basement. Very excited about it.
Well, Johnny, you brought up Evil Dick. One thing I don't want to skip over. It's Danny's birthday this week.
Yes.
Last week was Kaser's birthday. Is it also Danny's kid Tennessee's birthday? Do they share a birthday?
They share a birthday, and you could tell she got really emotional during her vote, and then it appears that emotion carried over to after the HOH competition as well.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I don't know anyone that shares a birthday with their child. Very cool.
Well, she's a really good mother.
What do you guys think? Does she look like Busy Phillips? Because I definitely see it.
I think
she's more attractive than Busy Phillips.
I think she's hotter too. I think she's one of the hottest reality people ever in the history of that. And her personality is just as good, if not better, than her looks. So.
Yeah, and she's not dumb. On top of it, she's got everything else too.
Yeah, no, she's a total package. She was Mikey B was pretty torn. Winston, have you ever met Mikey B from Survivor Fans vs. Favorites?
Oh, I know who he is, but I've never met him.
Yeah. So Mikey B was dating Danny when she went back to play.
Yeah.
And he was just like, so where are we at? And she's just like,
when she went in the house, they were dating.
They were dating before he's like, where are we at? And she goes, we're good. She goes, I'm going to do this. I probably won't be in the house long. I'm sure I'm an early target, and we'll pick up, where we left off as soon as I get out. And he was like, cool. And so Mikey B had never seen Big Brother. And he's just like, so he's calling me and he's just like, hey, like, what's the deal with Big Brother? I was like, yeah, it's like Survivor, but not as good. He was like, okay, I can do that. And so he's watching. He's just like, this is kind of cheesy, but it's not bad. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty accurate description. Pretty cheesy, but not bad. And so he's watching. He comes here just like, man. He goes, what's the deal with this kid she's talking to? Once again, kid, not not offensive. And I was like, I don't know. Seems like she's making an alliance. Yeah, that's just like, and then he keeps calling. He goes, she's really convincing, Fairplay. And I was like, yeah, seems like they got a pretty tight alliance. And he's like, so I got the live feeds. Might have been a mistake.
That's the second time, but Danny did the exact same thing in season 8, so like he should have known.
With Nick.
Was that?
Yeah,
Nick.
I didn't.
Yeah.
That was the guy that she was dating before. I mean,
Yeah.
Nick was
I don't know who the guy was before she was in the house, but she was with Nick in the.
He was Nick in the house. Yeah. So yeah.
Here's a fun question. Who's more memorable for their reality TV appearance, Mikey B or Dominic Briones?
It's a tie.
Yeah, I barely remember Mikey B. But then again, but Dom's attached to Danny.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know.
If Danny didn't have an Instagram, I wouldn't remember him.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole is evicted, and Julie Chen must be really close to Nicole Anthony because she's revised her COVID policy. At the start of the season, they were 12 feet away. Tonight, she pointed out the chair was 10 feet away, so it must be pretty tight. I don't know. She trusts me.
She wanted to offer that hug. That was a sweet moment. You could tell that Julie genuinely felt so bad for her, and she probably felt, those interviews are always awkward anyway. So you have to expose someone like that. Poor Nicole, sitting there realizing, oh, it really was and they showed the picture of the lines behind her. I felt bad for her. I mean, everyone's like, they're kind of dogging her here. But then Julie, of course, was like, I wish I could give you a hug. I mean, that was a sweet moment. And I don't think anybody watching the show can be like, oh, Nicole's trash. Like that. But of course, Twitter will. I mean, look out. Don't get on Twitter.
But I don't think, I thought Julie Chen was nice. And I do think she felt bad, but at the same time, I think she made it very clear to Nicole that Janelle had her back, and I think she made it even more clear that Julie Chen has Janelle's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
we do know one thing.
Evictions in a row, I've loved Julie's tact. She started and built up. This is who this character is. When Keisha left, when Nicole leaves tonight, says, you won America's favorite player. You have that legacy. That's great. Didn't work out this time, and now I'm going to grill you a little bit, which is what everyone wants to hear, which is, where did you screw up in this game? And that's not how Julie used to be. Julie used to ask kind of awkward questions that didn't tell us a whole lot and then move on quickly. I've really liked these exit interviews she's doing.
This has been her best season.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say one other thing also. The good thing about that interview is now we know for a fact that there is no buyback, at least at this phase, because we didn't know last week. And then there was another thing, and this is not a spoiler, even though it was from feeds. Janelle was going around and telling people that she was told that no matter what, she wasn't going to be going home to her kids until September.
I think it's game move. I think that's all.
That's what I think. I think she made it up.
I saw that, and I'm like, that's her just throwing around her big brother queen, saying, oh yeah, I've heard from so-and-so, and during my course, I know that we're not, so don't send me out the door. That's all it said.
If you send me back now, I just come back and fuck up everything you have, because I'm going to get all the outside the house information. Production's going to be fucking helping me on the outside.
That was so smart of her. I saw that too.
She's so good. She is. I mean, we have a queen on Survivor. Her name is Sandra, and you guys most assuredly. I don't even think you have a king, but you for damn sure have a queen, and she's never won.
Yeah, which is shocking. I really hope. I was hoping for Janelle HOH. I know everyone was, but
as I said, Enzo. I would have been cool with Enzo because I think it would have given Kevin the confidence needed to be. I want to see Kevin be a better player.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that would happen. I was hoping that's where Janelle and Kaser can finally get a foot in somewhere and just be like, look, this is what's happening with the rest of the house. You're not a part of this. You're HOH. It is your time. And plus, I don't want to see that big blob alliance just eat away everyone else, and then we're just stuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's talk about that great comp a little bit. They're sliding beers down some countertops.
Yeah.
They're just rubbing this in Memphis's face that he can't use all his mixology skills. He is tweeting, and we got sliding beers. The poor guy. He's got to.
It did start with the former mixologist, and I was like, "Oh, mixologist!" Because once again, I had never heard that term before. I was just like, "Ooh, what's it?" I look it up. I'm like, "He's a fucking bartender." And then I meet Memphis. I'm just like, "Hey, mixologist." He goes, "Yeah, I own this club." And I'm like, "Whoa, you're not really a mixologist." I think you're right. And no, this HOH competition more than solidified the fact that David is not smart.
This is what I wanted to talk about. It was so good.
Yeah, because
what's going on?
If you watched for half a second and closed your eyes, you could have figured out that you push these things hard. Not David.
No, also,
Okay.
he didn't even watch Cody go first because Cody was facing the wrong way, got yelled at. David walks up and faces the wrong way like 2 people later.
I don't know.
I'm
And
baffled at him.
there was a competition where they were all balancing the drinks. Was that a veto 2 times ago? I forget.
No, that was the safety suite.
That was the
Safety
safety
suite,
competition. Okay. David knows it's a timed competition.
Yes.
They start the clock. And I know it's an edited version that we're watching from the safety suite, but they showed him walking back and forth from the table to pick up the drinks to the table. I was like baffled at that's 2 or 3 seconds you're missing. Everyone else is hustling and bustling and back and forth. And I'm like, where's your hustle and grip for the game? Like, are you not? That really was just one more thing to add on to be like, and then tonight, the whole thing, him not hitting the buzzer at the end and just not, I was like, are you kidding me, guys? We're trying to root for you. I'm trying.
Well, it's a long walk to the grown-up table.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's again. I want to hate that comment, but he keeps validating it. So there you go.
We had players learn the game in the house. That's never happened before in All Stars, but it could still happen.
No.
Okay.
Boogie might have run the game in the house in All Stars.
I try to be positive.
No, as I said, he seems. Well, I don't know. I would say he seems like. I thought he seemed likable, but I didn't think he came off as likable tonight.
And his reads were so good last year. That's what's so weird.
Yeah. So
He
that
understood
was just with
I
Devon.
I have to say, to throw a little shade at that whole cast, it wasn't that hard to read that whole group. So we can all say that.
Right, but we saw it from the outside. He was not
Right.
only in the house, but he was in Camp Comeback, so nobody was
That's true.
talking to him.
I kind of forget with the
Right,
twist.
and he
together.
did seem to really understand what was going on, almost more than anybody else. So that was why I was kind of excited to see him back. But he can go now.
Yeah.
Well, Janelle and Ian both get really close, but Tyler does even better, and he comes out victorious.
Well, did you real quick? So Cody kind of first place for a second. Julie Chen Moonves got to say it. Enzo's time is there for a while. Ian's, I'm just like, conversely to David, here's the opposite of like I'm sitting there. I'm just like, Ian is probably gonna win this. Because Ian has watched the other people put Ian's not a strong guy, but Ian comprehended the fact, hey, you push it hard.
Ian taught physics. This is his challenge.
Yeah.
And he thought about like what to do with the mugs before he started. It was clear, like he was really watching and really thinking.
Yeah. So as I said, like that's just a big, like, I don't understand how you just can't. Why you wouldn't, or how you can't watch what other people do. Like this wasn't like, a 5,000 piece puzzle. It's just like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna remember all 5,000 pieces. There's no point. It's 3 fucking mugs and it's shuffleboard.
It's mug shuffleboard. That's what it is.
Yep.
I once again, as we mentioned earlier, I don't think the order was random. If it was, wow, did they get lucky with making a television show for the order that they got.
I'm also thinking when they were practicing in the backyard, Kaser was really good because all 3 of his mugs, I think 1 landed as a 5, but 2 fell just over the edge. I think they were hoping he might get a perfect 15.
Yeah.
I'm betting they watched how people were doing and staged them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next week we get the safety suite, or Sunday. That's still next week. We get the safety suite, and it's the laser light challenge. Gosh darn it! If only David had the opportunity to play, because I think he'd kill it.
Who is eligible to compete? We've got Cody and Memphis.
Oh yeah, because they told everybody to use theirs.
I know. Who else is left? Is it just Cody and Memphis, and who else has?
There's a couple other people from that alliance.
Danny and Nicole F.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Tyler tries to flush some more out, kind of like Memphis, in his own alliance, even because they got to disguise this at some point.
Well, I think it's the last week.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah, that's why Memphis is pushing it so hard.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So they will be okay.
So but the point is, the only people who are competing next week are those 4
who don't probably need it anyways.
Well, no, I wouldn't be so. If anything's going to happen, it's Memphis winning the safety suite, and pulling Janelle or Kaser off.
Well, are they allowed to use? Wait a minute, you're confusing me. Are they allowed to use? I thought it was just the people that play the safety suite are the only ones. So they're allowed to use.
Anybody.
Wow,
Oh.
I didn't realize that was the game.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm pretty sure it's anybody.
That's huge.
So I think that's the only way with those people competing. I don't see Cody making a move, but if Memphis feels unsafe, but I feel that I think he walked. I think he packs his bag from the HOH room tonight and go, mission accomplished. Possibly the greatest HOH of all time.
I think he thinks he's Dan. Like, I think that his bravado, he thinks he missed it, everybody. And
It's kind of I kind of like it. It's funny, man.
it is.
He's doing his thing. Did you see him smiling when Nicole was throwing the shade there? Which interesting thing, Dan actually tweeted and said while that was going on, Nicole's speech, had it come down to a tie, had it gone to Memphis, helping yourself by throwing Memphis under the bus there with her whole little thing of big, strong Memphis. You picked me, congrats. Like, I understand what the angle she was going for, but it was also like, if it came down to a tie, he's probably going to boot you in that moment. I mean, but again, Nicole probably knew she was already out. I'm sure Janelle.
And Memphis said he really didn't want to break a tie.
Yeah.
So
he didn't care when. He just didn't want to break a tie. So cool. Well, my last question for you, Winston, is: was it smart for Tyler to win this?
Okay, and I just tweeted this. Genuinely, I don't think he needed to win this HOH. I'm shocked that he gunned for it like everyone else, because he was definitely edging for it. I don't know. I don't think he needed it. I think he would have been fine. It's a little suspect to me that he gunned for it. I think maybe Tyler's. I don't know. I think he's going to play a little sloppy maybe this week because now he's got to make some moves.
Yeah.
Unless he, I'd also mentioned maybe he'll throw up an alliance member of his own alongside an actual target, use them as a pawn, that kind of situation, just to disguise it a little bit, because he's not going to want to know that the house knows that I'm working with this group. So I don't know. I think it was very shocking to me that they all gunned for it. It was like every single one of them wanted to win this one. You could tell from the reactions. I mean, genuinely, each person was like upset or happy immediately after hitting that buzzer. And I was just kind of shocked because it's still early, it's real early in this game.
Yeah, I was wondering if he gunned for it so hard because he didn't want Ian to have it and he looked at who was behind him and didn't want them to have it as a possible explanation. But his team seems to be lay low. This seemed very un-Tyler.
Yeah. And I don't think Ian was going for it. I don't think.
Oh, Ian was going for it. You don't think he would?
No. I don't think Ian would have been going for Tyler.
Right. No, and I agree. He must have not felt comfortable looking at who was behind him. Obviously, with Janelle.
I think the Kaser thing scared him.
Or it's possible that group just all discussed it and decided we're all going to gun for it.
True.
If Cody tells you to gun for it and he sees you throwing it, that's probably not a good thing for you.
That's true. But this was pro, I mean.
Well, Cody is one half of the commission. T-shirt available at JonnyFairplay.com. And with every T-shirt purchase, you get a phone call from me, Jonny Fairplay, thanking you for your purchase.
I may have to buy one of those so I can burn it.
You can do that. I encourage plenty of people to do that. So everyone, don't forget the best way to support the podcast. A way to support the podcast is to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, rate us 5 stars, leave a comment. Friendly ones only. If you have
We've gotten some great comments lately. Keep leaving those. Those are great.
Yeah. So if you have a negative comment, just tweet me, and then I'll block you. It'll be good. But yeah, just only positive comments on the Apple Podcast. It helps with advertisers, and that helps support the show. But the best way to support the podcast, of course, is to become a patron, and that is at adfreensfw.com. And we have bonus content. We do a weekly Q&A. We do a monthly Zoom. There's a secret Facebook group in which we do weekly trivia. We rank the seasons, and there's lots of interaction there. It's a really awesome group. As of right now, we have 110 patrons. And if we get up to 200, it's only 90 away. I will get Matt Bischoff's face tattooed on my body and with beard. And so if you don't like me, just join for 1 month so we hit 200. And then, I will tell you this, like I cried, like I passed out when I got my ears pierced when I was a kid, or not when I was a kid, stupid teenager or whatever. Like I cried when I got my tattoo on my arm. Like, so if you don't like Jonny Fairplay and you want to see me in pain and cry and all that, become a patron for 1 month. Let's just get up to 200 one time. I will get a fucking tattoo of Matt Bischoff and his beard on my body. It's a win-win. And if you do like me, great. Support the fucking podcast, dickhead. So either way.
Johnny, right after this, I'm going to go on in the patron group and do everything I can to get 90 new patrons.
90 new? Yeah. So,
90 accounts. There you go.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there you go. So it's
your friend, hey, I'll pay for it. You're a patron for a month. Sure.
Yeah, so it's ad-free nsfw.com. Let's put Jonny Fairplay in pain. Winston, man, peek behind the curtain right before we let you go. So we did Hearts of Reality together, and we rode on the bus. It was me, you, and Sarah Lucina. And I gotta say, it was really early in the morning.
God, that was the worst. Right.
I was a little gruff. I was a little grumpy. And gosh darn it, if you aren't the nicest guy in the world, even
I don't know, brother. Thank you though. Thank you guys for having me on. This was a blast to talk about. I've literally been sitting here talking to myself, screaming at the TV. So this was fun. Appreciate it, you guys. And yeah, I'm looking forward to
we'll have you back. You'll be our Regis film in case of emergency. Break glass. You're there. So you don't have to yell at talk to yourself and figure out how many fake patron accounts you have to put together so I can get my tattoo.
Oh, I'm gonna get on there, man. I want to see you getting tatted.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts, and I'm a big pussy, so it's everyone wins. So that's ad-free nsfw.com. Watch Jonny Fairplay cry.
Thank you, Winston, and thank you, everybody. Good night.
Seriously, have a good night.